We're back with Hannah Rose Platt. The new album is Deathbed Confessions, and you just heard The Mermaid and the Sailor. Uh, Tell me about that siren call of temptation.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I'm a big nerd. I'm a huge nerd, very proud nerd. And when I was researching the album, I was researching ghosts and ghost stories. And my research led me all the way back to the 1500s when a gent called Samuel Pepys, he wrote the Diary of the Great Friar of London. Um, what he also did was go around the taverns of the Elizabethan London, and he would listen to the balladeers play the songs, and he collected these songs and he categorized them into 10 categories, and each of these categories somewhere there features a ghost. So that was like a gift for me. I was like, this is a lovely sort of loose framework for the record, so make sure it's got a bit of variety and a bit of a curve. And the categories were murder and marriage, which was interesting that they were together. There was also one love fortunate, love unfortunate, good fellowship. And what struck me and what excited me was there was a category called sea and gallantry. And I just thought, this is brilliant. This means like I get to write a sea song. And I did a lot of research into sea shanties. But what I found I was more drawn to were the slower, lilting, more sailors' laments, they're called. And I've always been fascinated by mermaids and often the darker side of mermaids. And I just sort of wanted to do the classic tale of the mermaid luring the sailor into the water. But then I thought, what could be a modern day sort of equivalent of that? And I just thought about the call of addiction, and how that call is, it's almost impossible to resist. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah. Why did you have the sailor turn around and join the mermaid in the call to doom?
The dark ending. And because unfortunately I've been through a time in life where I had lost someone to that call, and it just felt more truthful to me, I guess, to end it that way at that time.
So yeah, you got ghosts, mermaids, cannibalism, murder, wayward dolls, siren calls. You don't exactly shy away from the uncomfortable and creepy on this album. Why is that such a favorite motif of yours?
I think it's because I've always been sort of quite fascinated with that side of things since I was little. Since I was a kid, I would like climb on the furniture to get to the Stephen King books that were at the top of the shelf that I wasn't supposed to read. And I think often with horror, what it does for us is it allows us to look at things that are uncomfortable, but through this sort of distorted, sensationalized lens. And often with that comes a lot of different emotions, not just fright. Being scared. There's loss, there's sadness, there's dark humor, and there's also comfort in the mystery of it all. I think, and the possibility. If there's a ghost, it means there's something else, and quite often it can be comforting to know that the ones we've lost are not completely gone. It's not always about being friends.
Well, I always like to end my interviews by having the artist pick a song from another artist that sort of fits along with our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So go for go for a horror type song by another artist.
Okay, so I'm going to choose a song by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and it's called "The Ballad of Robert Moore and Betty Coltrane."
Tell me about it a little.
So it's not exactly a ghost story, but it is a sort of murder ballad, very detailed story, a little bit of a plot twist in there, um, and just also a little bit of humor, a little dark humor. So quite fitting with everything that we've been talking about. It almost seems like a play. It's like watching a play, listening to it. It's brilliant.
Hannah Rose Platt, the new album is Deathbed Confessions. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.